Hey guys, my name is Alexandra Valentine and you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Here we post all things fashion, sewing related and sewing tutorials. If this is something you are interested in, kindly hit on the subscribe button to join the family, and if you end up enjoying this video, give it a thumbs up, like this video guys. So in today's tutorial we are going to be cutting and sewing this ballon skirt. Yeah, I noticed that it came back in trend and I just decided to create one for myself and also show the process of my recreation. Meanwhile, this is what I later opted for. I just decided to add a simple tweak to it. So now this is my fabric and I just made use of 1 yard, though I had a joining, but you can make use of 1.5 yards so that you will not have to cut and join for it to be enough. So I'm going to fold this in two like this right now that I'm doing like this, and I'm going to fold it. I'm just making sure that this is like well arranged. This is the first fold in two, then I'm going to fold it again, that's into four, right? Into four, the second fold. So while you're doing it, just make sure that everything is aligned and in place. Meanwhile, did you see the joining I was talking about? Yeah, that was because I made use of 1 yard of fabric and I was just trying for it to be enough because the market is actually far from my place. So I just made use of the fabric that I have at home. But if you want to do yours and for it not to have joining, just go ahead and use 1.5 yard of fabric. So I've gone ahead to fold it into four, and I'm going to start my measurement from that sharp point where there is no opening, right? So what I'm doing now is I'm just dividing my waist by 4 inches. My waist divided by 4 inches is 6.5. So at the end of the day, the circumference I am to have is 6.5, but I want it to be more than, so that I will have gathers around the waist area. Do you understand? So what I'm doing now is from that midpoint of this fabric, I am going, or that edge rather, I'm going to go around it by 4.5, and you see me marking it, right? So by the time I'm done marking it, I am just going to connect it, each point, like I'm just going to connect them together. So by the time I use my tape and measure around that curve line that I have marked, I am going to measure it, and what I have here is 8 inches. So 8 times 4 is going to give us 32, which is bigger than my waist measurement because my original waist measurement is 26 inches, so you can see that it's bigger. So but I'm going to show you why I want it to be bigger. So for the length of the skirt, I want it to be 15 and a half. So I'm going to start from that curved line and I will just be marking 15 and a half all through until I get to the other end of the fabric. Sorry, the length was 15 inches, but when I was cutting it, I added half inch for stitching seam allowance. Okay, I've gotten to the other end, so I'm just trying to make sure that I marked all the whole points together. So at this point, I'm going to connect all the points that I've marked together. So at this point now, I'm going to cut through those lines that I've marked. The through the curve lines, I'm going to cut through it. So this is what the cutout is looking like. So I'm just going to keep that aside and work on the lining piece. So the lining piece is not going to be a full flay. I'm just going to fold my fabric in a triangle form and make sure that the folded part is in a straight line facing you before you roll your line. Okay, and the line should be straight towards you. Okay, just make sure that the folded parts, like when you fold it in a triangle form from that edge, that the folded part is in a straight line facing you. So from that tip now, I am coming down by 13 inches because it's going to carry my waistline, which is 32 inches on the original cutout. That's the original flay or the main fabric of the skirt. This is just the lining part. So it's going to have to carry the waist measurement, which is 32 inches, right? So what I have here is 9 inches. So 9 times 4 is more than 32, it's 36. So I am going to reduce it. Instead of 13 now, I am going to make it 12 inches. So I'm just starting from that top part, that edge there, and I'm going round until I meet from one end to another. Okay, so I'm making sure that this is 9 inches so I don't have to repeat the whole process again. So instead of 13 inches now, I'm marking 12 inches. I'm marking 12 inches and I'll just connect it and remeasure it again. So what that curve is supposed to give me is 8 inches. Okay, so 8 times 4 is 32 inches, and that will be a perfect number for the skirt, or that's the waist that we are working with for this particular skirt. Since we've confirmed that 12 inches mark point is 8 inches now, we are going to start from that curved line, and we are going to come down by 13.5 inch as the length. Remember, for the front part it was 15.5 inches, right? So it's going to have like more like a turn up. So I'm going to start from that 12 inches marked, and I will just be going marking it 13.5 inches till I get to the other end of the fabric. Okay, and then I'm just going to connect all these marked points in a curved line. I'm going to connect them together. So now I'm going to cut it out, and that will be all for the lining part of this ballon skirt. Meanwhile, I decided to reduce the length of the hem part because I noticed it was too wide, so I don't want it to be looking too wide. So I'm going to replicate this on another lining piece. Like, I will have to cut it out again so that I'll have two of them, and this is what I have here. So what I'm going to do now is to place it right side facing each other, and I'm going to go ahead and stitch down one part and keep it aside. Now for the main fabric, I'm going to find one part and open it up, like I'm going to cut it open on one part. So what is going to control the waist is this elastic band, which I'm going to cut with my exact waist measurement. So my round waist measurement is 26 inches. So I'm just going to cut out 27 inches, 1 inch extra for seam allowance. Okay, so I'm cutting that out now, and this is what we are going to use to control the waist. Remember, the waist on the fabric is 32 inches, so this elastic band is what is going to bring it together. Now that is done, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to run a gather stitch on the waistline of this main fabric, and also run a gather stitch on the hem part of it as well. So I've gone ahead to do just that. I ran a gather stitch on the lining waistline too, but I did not do the same for the hem of the lining. Okay, I just ran a gather stitch on the waistline. So what I'm going to do now is to drag the gather stitch, that's the thread. I'm going to drag it, and while I'm dragging it, I'll make sure to keep in mind not to exceed my waist measurement. So while I'm doing that, I am measuring it to make sure that it is at exactly 26 inches. So it was lesser than that, and I decided to that I opened it up. So now I'm just distributing the gathers equally across the waistline of this lining. So I'm done with that, and I'm re-measuring just to be sure that I have not exceeded or it's lesser than the waistline. So this is what I have on this waistline, and I'll keep it aside and work on the main fabric. So for the main fabric, I'm going to repeat the same thing I did for that lining piece. So I'm just going to drag it, and I'll show you guys the finished result. This is what I have on the this is what I have done on the waistline. I've gathered it up, and remember we ran a gather stitch at the hem of this main fabric as well, so I'm going to gather that up. So what I'm just doing is confirming the waist measurement, if it is at 26 inches or it has exceeded or it is lesser. So what I have here is 26 inches. So right now I am going to measure the hem of the lining part. So what I have here is 66.5. So the remember we ran a gather stitch on the hem part of the main fabric. So I'm going to gather it up because obviously the hem part of the main fabric is wider. So I'm going to gather it up to meet that 66.6 inches. So I'm going to do that off camera, and I'll come back and show you guys. So this is what I have by the time I was done gathering it up. So what I'm going to do now is just to remeasure to make sure that it is exactly at that 66.6. So this is what it is looking like at the moment. I think I measured it off camera. I did just that. So now I'm going to attach the elastic band to it now. So what I'm doing here now is I'm placing the elastic band like towards me and it's on the right side. And I'm also going to bring my lining piece as well. So I'm sandwiching the elastic band in between the lining piece and the fabric. Make sure that it is right side facing each other. I'm talking about the fabric right now. So while you are stitching the elastic to the fabric, make sure that you are just sewing on the edge of the elastic band, so you sew it all through to the end, and also join the hem together. So I've gone ahead to do that, and I have also torn it out. So this is the way it's looking like right now, and I will just go ahead and stitch these parts together. That is all for making of a balloon skirt. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. I hope you find this tutorial very helpful. Please, if you do, give this video a very big thumbs up and tag me when you recreate this. Also join the family by subscribing. Hit on the subscribe button, and also share these videos to who you think might be interested or will find it helpful. So at the end of the day, I decided that this was just too plain. Even though it was looking beautiful, I just decided to tack some place, just add a little bit of tweak to it so that I'll have a different look. And this is what I had at the end of the day. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, guys. Until next time, bye.